Hey everyone, today I turned 25. Well, not exactly today. I'm recording this a couple days early, but by the time this video goes live and you're watching it, I'm 25. In this video, I want to share 3 key insights that allowed me to go from absolutely nothing to a life I couldn't even dream of 7 years ago. These thoughts will explain exactly why 95% of my classmates are still living paycheck to paycheck while I became a millionaire. Let me show you something very special to me. This is my diary that I started in 2016 when I was 16 years old. I was living in Little Bytham, a tiny village in Lincolnshire with my parents, going to year 11. I hadn't earned a single pound in my life, but one day I opened this diary and wrote, July 30th, 2016. This is my first entry. 95% of my mates will have ordinary skint lives that won't be particularly diverse. They call it normal, but constantly moan about it. They say I'm a swat, and they live in the moment. They live for a laugh, but their lives are just as boring as mine. The difference is one thing. I'm changing my future by grafting now, while they're having a laugh now and sod their future. When I make my first million at 19, this diary will be a brilliant record of right and wrong thoughts. So these words were written by 16-year-old me, who had absolutely no idea what was waiting for him. At that moment, I created a picture in my mind that I would make my first million at 19. How would I do it? Haven't got a clue. I just tried different options. I started with what's now called dropshipping, reselling products. But everything went absolutely pants. Here are some of my entries. Feel like I'm working too little or too rubbish with eBay. Not a single order. I feel proper shit. Launched Google Ads. 36 clicks. 0 orders so far. Lost 15 pounds. I'm proper stuck. Haven't got a clue what to do. The entire first year went like this. I studied loads, tried many things, and absolutely nothing worked. That's how my 16th year passed. But at 17, things started working. I moved to London, started selling web design and digital marketing services, created simple websites for people, and made my first £1,200. At 19, I made my first £1,000,000 from online courses. At 22, I made my first $1,000,000 launching my course through my blog. At 16, I wrote that I dreamed of buying a Ferrari, something mental for me then. At 22, I actually bought myself a Ferrari F8 for my birthday. I also wrote in my diary that I wanted to become a content creator with 1,000,000 followers. Look at my Instagram, 1,000,000 followers. My life changed dramatically during this time. But it all started when 16-year-old me took a diary, took a pen, and created a picture of the future that materialized over the following years. Insight number 1. Everything is born in your mind first. And exactly a picture, not a plan. I had no plan. I had no idea how I would reach those earnings, that blog, and everything I have now. But there was a picture, and that's actually the important first detail that launches the entire process. First insight. First a picture forms in your head, and over the next 3 to 10 years, reality forms around that picture. But if there's no picture at the beginning, then reality won't form either. Insight number 2. Don't chase goals, build systems. Let me explain with a workout example. If someone has a goal to lose 10 kilos, they'll lose it. What do they need to do? Simply eat less, run more. They go on a diet, start running in the mornings, and they really will reach their goal and lose 10 kilos after some time. But the question is, for how long? From my experience and everyone I know who's ever tried to lose weight, not for long. As soon as they achieve this goal, they immediately start eating back, and in about 2 months, they'll weigh 15 kilos more than before, because they pursued a specific goal rather than building a long-term system. If this person, instead of asking, "How do I lose 10 kilos?" asked, "How do I build a regular nutrition and training system that will be comfortable for me, my whole life that I can stick to, where I'll always feel energetic, train, and eat with pleasure, while looking like this and weighing even 15 kilos less?" This is a completely different question that leads to completely different actions. Same with money. When someone focuses on, "How do I make 800 pounds as quickly as possible this month? I need it now." The world will offer different options. You can work at a warehouse, go freelance, and knacker yourself doing loads of orders, try sports betting, and maybe something will come good. But this won't provide long-term wealth. Better to ask, what kind of person do I need to become professionally so that I'm valuable to other people to the extent that this would attract 4,000 pounds plus every month? This question changes everything. It switches focus from quick money schemes to a fundamental path that will really lead you to where this becomes your normal, natural income. Insight. 3. Difficult periods are your best teachers. The most difficult life periods are your best upgrade, and it's from life itself. These are periods when you learn faster than ever, become stronger and smarter. When I look back at the last 7 years of my life, I realize that exactly those moments when everything was complete shit, and it seemed like the worst moment of my life, that's exactly what gave me a boost then, or taught me something that allowed me to reach a new stage of growth. Let me tell you one of the hardest stories of my life. When I was 19, I was launching a website course with my partner Emily. We did our first launch for 100,000 pounds. I was 19, she was 17. I made 50,000 pounds for the first time in my life and was absolutely buzzing. Then we decided to fly to Ibiza and do another launch there. We flew to Ibiza, launched another course flow there, and made 280,000 pounds. She's 17, I'm 19. I have 140,000 pounds. I thought I had proper cracked it. We started preparing the next course launch, and somewhere in the middle of this launch, Emily crashed her car and died. This was a massive shock for me. Besides Emily being a very close person to me, essentially a mate who I lived and worked with, she was my partner. She was a content creator with an audience that we launched to. I found myself at a point where everything was knackered. I lost my partner, I lost the product because who would want to participate in a product where one of the speakers just died? I found myself at a point where it seemed like I lost everything. A month earlier, life was brilliant. I thought I had reached the peak of success. And a month later, it seemed like I was at rock bottom where I needed to completely reinvent myself, my plans, and rebuild. This difficult period led me to being forced to learn to develop my own content. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have developed my social media much, because why would I do that if Emily was much better than me, and it was much easier for me to just be a producer? But this situation forced me to develop my own following, and for the next 5 years after that, I've been developing my content. Eventually, I became what I think is a decent content creator. And exactly this difficult situation pushed me to development and actions that I wouldn't have started doing just like that, but which ultimately turned out to be very important for my growth. So if you're currently in a very difficult period of your life, it means life needs to teach you something. FYI, this is part 1 of the key insights. More to follow. If this video was helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more content about building wealth, developing blogs, and living life more effectively. See you in the next one.